Hey guys, welcome to my channel. I'm Lisa, and in this video we're going to talk through how I've completed this elephant with colour pencils. If you like this video, remember to like and subscribe, and if you feel like you'd like to give this one a go, you can check out the tutorial on Patreon. You get given the line art, reference photo, colour list with materials, everything you need to complete this one all by yourself with full real-time instructions. If you'd like to see all of the tutorials I have available, you can check out my website in the link below. So let's get started completing the elephant. So the scale of this one is only about 6 inches by 6 inches, so it's not very big. So when you're doing these really small details, it's really good to have a very sharp point. So I do go through and use my sandpaper sharpener just to get a really fine point on my black pencil, and I'm also using the dark sepia to outline here as well. Just because it's not fully black in some of the wrinkles, I'm just using the dark sepia. But like I've said in the tutorial on Patreon, if you don't have dark sepia, just use your black really lightly. So the pencils I'm using for the base layers are the warm grey 1, the cold grey 1, cold grey 4, and the warm grey 3, along with the warm grey 5, dark sepia, and black. Then there are only sort of 3 main colours that I'm using. So that is the Bista, which is sort of a yellowy brownish colour, and sky blue, which is clearly blue, and beige red, which is sort of a really light pinky, sort of fleshy sort of colour. And when we're putting these in, we're only really glazing them in. So what glazing means is that you're putting your pencil on the side and just putting it in very, very lightly. You don't want these colours to be very bright or heavy. You just want them to be sort of a hint of that colour in there. Putting the blue in really helps with the cooler tones. So when I'm talking about cooler tones, in the colour wheel there are the cooler colours and the warmer colours. So the cooler colours are more sort of blue, purple colours, and the warmer colours are sort of red, orange, yellow sort of things. Then when it came to the ear for this guy, what I did was use the cold grey 4, go in and start to put in some of the darker areas and just outline where you can see them. Then I'd go through and build up the base layers again by adding in some of those colours that I just discussed, and then getting darker with the warm grey 3 and the cold grey 1 and 2. And then you can start to get darker with the cold grey 4, and then darker with the warm grey 5, and then eventually get up to the black in the very, very darkest areas. So this sort of thing does take a while. These sort of textures and these ears are quite big, so it takes a while to sort of render them out and figure out where the light and dark sections are. This is also why it's really good to have a very good outline for your piece, because if you don't have a good outline or you can't see where all of the little details are, it can take a little while to sort of map everything out. Doesn't mean that it's impossible to do, just means it might take you a little bit longer. So the procedure I use for most of this piece is just to go in with the darker pencils really, really lightly, map out some of where the wrinkles are and the other shadows are, then go in with a base of the cold grey 1, warm grey 1, or warm grey 3, and then just start to build up those darker areas with the cold grey 4, warm grey 5, and dark sepia. So for the grass under the feet, I did go through and use an embossing tool. So this is just like a metal tool that you use to indent the paper. This really helps to keep the piece nice and white where each of those pieces of grass are. And then I added another pencil at the very end, which was the ivory, just to add in some of that grass and give it sort of a yellow tone. That goes really well with the Bista, and I also use the Bista here along with the cold and warm grey 1s. So when you're adding in the wrinkles for the elephant, it's really important to really study your reference photo. Have a look where the darkest section of the wrinkle is, and then where it sort of gets lighter and where it's darker. And you just want to try and mimic this with your pencils. So usually the wrinkles on the trunk, you'll see that there are the darkest section, so the very middle of the wrinkle. Then just above that, it's a little bit darker, so I used a warm grey 5 for that section. And then right above that is a very light section, so this is where we're just using the cold or the warm grey 1s. And then above that is a darker line again, so you just want to really study your reference photo to see where the light is hitting each of the pieces of skin. Remember, this is just a quick glimpse at this piece. If you really want to see the full tutorial, check me out on Patreon. So I really hope that you like this video. Remember to like and subscribe, and if you'd like to give this one a go, check me out on Patreon at the link below. I'll see you in the next tutorial. Keep drawing. Thanks, guys.